why don't women ever take our compliments? And from that moment on, I've respected it. When somebody gives me some sort of compliment, I at least say, thank you.
So this is a little bit of a life hack question. How can you use your relationship with other people to understand yourself better as a mirror within them?
So when we're talking about our relationships, I always use this metaphor of a ship bringing cargo to our shores. So when we have a relationship and we start to have issues, or maybe we're even very happy for a little short amount of time, what is that saying? What is that relationship bringing to us? What is the lesson that we need to learn and unpack, so to speak? So this can be really, really important when you start to have issues with your partner and you start blaming, right? You say, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. Step back, take a moment, take a pause, and respond. Think about why is this activating whatever it's activating in me, right? It's before you yell, what is the feeling that comes up right before that? A lot of times it's sadness, a lot of times it's vulnerability, a lot of times it's, feeling abandoned. A lot of times it's from our past. It's from maybe something that happened with our parents. If we have abandonment issues with our parents, and for some reason when our husband or our partner withdraws, we feel abandoned, right? So what needs healing in you is the question. What needs healing that you're not paying attention to, that you're deflecting onto your partner? Another thing I talk about a lot with my clients is this idea of resistance. When we're resisting something, it's like we're holding it behind us. We're holding it, we're saying, I'm not gonna pay attention to that feeling of sadness, abandonment. I'm not gonna pay attention to it. But what are we doing? We're holding it, we're touching it. And it will never go away because we're holding it behind us. When we turn around and we look at it, we allow it to be there and it can dissolve. It's also like maybe someone knocking at the door, you're sitting on the couch, you're ignoring the knock. Then when you go answer the door, the knocking goes away, right? So when we think about our relationships and the struggles that we have, we need to look back, keep bringing it back to ourselves. And this also goes into the idea of victim consciousness, right? We feel like this is happening to us. Why is this happening to me? But really flipping it around and saying, how am I creating this situation?
Another way to think about this mirror question is that we know ourselves only in terms of comparisons and contrasting. So if one of us went into a white room that was square, had no features, had no people, had nothing people do like TV or books, we wouldn't have anything to bounce off of, and we wouldn't know it. Well, we'd go crazy, right? But we wouldn't come to know ourselves. So when somebody irritates you or frustrates you or whatever, it's a chance for you to look inside and say, would I do that? I don't think that I would respond that way, or I wouldn't use that tone of voice. That's me. I wouldn't do that. So every time somebody gets on your nerves, it's really giving you an opportunity. They're your mirror, they're your teacher, that allows you to know more fully who you are. And then we have to move into continuously accepting ourselves as we keep moving. We are a moving target. So we keep learning about ourselves, we keep accepting ourselves afresh and consciously.
And I think that the mirror goes both ways. And I think it's easy for us to look in the mirror when the relationship is really strong and healthy and think, wow, we look great. Look at how strong and healthy we are. And it's still okay to look in the mirror and think, you know what? I am strong. I'm okay. The reflection might be a little fuzzy today, a little foggy, but it's okay. One thing that I do a lot, this is in my coaching practice, it ends up being a wonderful gift for people, is I ask people if they're having problems with a teenager or on the brink of divorce, write down one thing that you appreciate or you like about that person every single day, and just get a note card, an index card, spiral bound. It doesn't have to be great, just something really small. Thanks for helping with the groceries today. And the more you train yourself to look at the good in that reflection, the more you improve the reflection. And along with that, the more you're able to see the good in yourself. And it's really a training process?
You know, this is a complicated question for me. I don't really know. But I think you got to listen to people too, because they'll tell you about yourself. I just remember one moment in my life, I walked into some room, it was a business thing, and some guy said something very nice to me. And I said, oh, you know, and he looked at me and said, why don't women ever take our compliments? You know, and from that moment on, I've respected it. When somebody gives me some sort of compliment, I at least say, thank you. And if you can absorb what some of the people around you actually say to you, I think that could help.
So the brilliance of this question, if you're watching, is to life hack yourself. Figure out where your judgments are and where you look harshly at other people, and then turn it inward. What does it tell you about yourself? The more you know who you are, the happier you'll be.